So there's really two ideas in my life, or rather guiding principles that I try to follow with everything that I do, and that's break things down into manageable pieces and put systems in place that make life easier. Which is why I'm going to show you a very simple, effective budgeting method. And really, what it does is it takes little bits and pieces from the main budgeting ideas that are out there, and it kind of takes the best parts of each and combines them as a whole. And it's very simple and easy to follow, and that's really what's most important at the end of the day. But before we do yourself a favor and subscribe down below, because this channel is dedicated to giving you the tools you need to become a millionaire. Okay, so the first step is to break your monthly expenses into three categories. You have your needs, which are going to be fixed expenses like your rent, car payment, car insurance, cell phone bill, basically things that don't change on a monthly basis, or even just your basic groceries like eggs, milk, coffee, like not Starbucks coffee, regular coffee. So 50% of your monthly income should go towards that. So for easy math, if you make $2,000 a month, $1,000 should be going towards those expenses. The next category is going to be your wants, which is essentially just your discretionary spending. So that's going to be if you want to go out and buy a new fishing pole, or if you want to go to the movies, maybe take your significant other out to a nice dinner, things like that. That's going to vary on a monthly basis, and really it's kind of up to you what you want to spend that on. And that's essentially going to account for about 30% of your monthly income. And the third category is going to be reserved for investing and paying down bad debt. And the reason that paying bad debt is in there is because oftentimes, okay, so what do I mean by bad debt? We're talking about high interest credit card payments. A lot of times nowadays people are paying 27% on a credit card. You're not going to be able to beat that in the market if you're just investing. The average return on the S&P 500 over the last, I believe it's 20 years, is something like 12.6%. So you're paying double what you could be making if that money was invested. So oftentimes if you have any bad credit card debt or tote the note car loan debt, essentially high interest debt is what you want to focus on paying off first, and that's what this category is reserved for. Once you're done paying off that high interest debt, now we can focus on starting to invest in the stock market, investing in index funds. You can start saving for a down payment on a home, things of that nature that can actually start building your wealth. But the first step and the most important step is to get rid of any high interest debt, because that's a ball and chain that's going to keep you in poverty. You just got to get out of it. It's toxic. Get it out of your life. So now that we understand the three boxes that your money's going to essentially be going to every month, what you want to do is to simplify your life and set up automatic transfers or automatic payments. Because essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it so that you only have to worry about the wants category. You only have to worry about what you want to spend on a monthly basis. Do you want to buy a new fishing pole? Do you want to go to Chipotle for lunch? And that's going to really simplify the budgeting process, because if your needs category is all set up on automatic payments where the money comes into your account and then you send it off to pay for all of your needs, okay, well that money's taken care of for the month. And if the investment and paying down bad debt category is taken care of, where whenever your check comes in, it immediately goes out to pay down that bad debt, all you have to worry about is your wants category, which accounts for 30% of your income. And I'm also going to show you a trick that makes it a lot easier to keep track of that, so that you don't wake up one day and suddenly your account's at zero, or worse, in the negative. And another benefit that I like about this method is that if you categorize it by percentages of your income, so 50%, 30%, and 20%, as your income grows, what you're able to do is you're able to adjust the percentages, right? So let's say that you're making another 10% or 20% of your income. Well, keep your expenses the same, but take that extra income and just add it into the investment and paying down debt category. This does two things. One, it's going to boost your investing and paying down the debt, obviously, but it prevents you from getting into lifestyle creep. So one of my best friends, he makes really good money. He makes well into the six figures, but he kind of falls into this lifestyle creep category where he went out and he bought a brand new car immediately, and then he bought another brand new car, and then he's buying, luxury clothes all the time and whatnot. And it puts you in the situation where you are not getting ahead. You see, the definition of being wealthy is it's the difference between your monthly expenses and your income. So if your income goes up, but your monthly expenses just continue to go up, you're never going to be able to invest and save and retire because all your money is just being spent every month. I mean, I know doctors that make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year and they're broke. I mean, essentially it happens because they go out and they buy a Porsche, they buy all these luxury items that they can't afford, and next thing they know, 10 years have gone by and they've done nothing with their investing lives. So the main point I'm trying to get across is that it allows you to be flexible, it allows you to adjust the percentages as your income grows. Now, another method that people like to talk about is the pay yourself first method. Essentially what this does is as soon as your paycheck comes in, you pay your future self first by prioritizing investing. Too many people go through life and they wake up at 40 years old and they're like, oh crap, I haven't invested anything. I'm broke, And what that strategy aims to do is to, as soon as your money comes in, so that it doesn't slip away, be spent in other areas of your life that you don't want it being spent, you take that money immediately and you invest it. That way it's sacred, it's protected, nobody touches it. There's no, I want to go to the Bahamas, there's none of that. It's future retirement money, which is why I talk about as soon as your paycheck comes in, have the automatic payments set up so that money can go out to paying down the bad debt or going into your 401k. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the cash envelope system. This was made famous by Dave Ramsey. It plays on human psychology. There's a reason that Jeff Bezos on Amazon, they made it so that there's a one-click buy button on Amazon where all you have to do is click that one little button and poof, $50 is gone. And that's because if you reduce the friction of money, it makes it a lot easier for people to spend on a monthly basis. So whenever you go into a grocery store and you fill up your cart, and I just did this with my little brother when I was in Houston. I walked in there just to show him a really cool grocery store that has all kinds of different meats and whatnot. I walked out spending like $30 or $35. I bought like chocolate and creme brulee and a couple of other things. But it just shows that it's much easier to spend money whenever you have your credit card. So one study shows that people spend 12 to 18% more when using a credit card instead of cash. The average value of a cash transaction was $22 compared to $112 for non-cash purchases, meaning like credit cards. That's nearly a 409% increase. So what you do is you get your wants category, you withdraw the cash for that 30%, you put it in an envelope. And I like to break it down per week because it's a lot easier to keep it per week as opposed to, keeping 30% of your total monthly income in an envelope. It's a little safer too in case you lose it. But you keep the cash in there and then you walk into the store. Let's say that you've got $50 in there for the week. You walk into the grocery store, that's all you can spend. You leave, if you have to, and you're bad about it, and with impulse buying, just leave your credit cards in the car or at home and bring in your $50 cash. And that's all you have, right? So it forces you to think about what you're spending, how much money you have, because you've only got $50. And now, with Amazon being part of our lives now, I understand a lot of people do online shopping. And so what you do is you remove all your credit cards from Amazon and if you want to buy something, you essentially take your cash and you go and deposit it in your bank account. So now there's money for you to make a purchase on Amazon. If you are very disciplined, the other thing you can do is just, as soon as you make the purchase on Amazon, immediately pay the credit card. And then, you obviously have to go and deposit the cash in your bank account. A little bit more of a hassle, but it's what you got to do. Okay, so putting it all together, I want you to grab a piece of paper and write down your needs, your wants, and then your invest in debt. Under your needs, write out, my rent is this much, my utilities cost this much, my car is this much, my basic groceries are this much. That should all be 50% or less. Then take your investments, and really all you're going to do there is you're going to plan, if you make just again, simple math. If you make $1,000 a month, 20% of that should be immediately going to pay off credit card, bad debt that you have, just set that up on auto pay. And then for once, all you do is you simply withdraw the cash, right? You get an envelope, you keep it in there, and that's what you're spending for the week. And if you don't spend it all, well, it just rolls over to the next week and gives you a little extra money to spend. All right, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section down below. And until next time, take care.